Hey, so I did say that this was going to be kind of a bi-weekly thing. And I've actually had to put my phone away, like turn it on silent and put it, like hide it from myself so I don't look at it while I'm making this video. Um, anyway, so it is story time. And I have not added any new things to this, so I have no idea. I still don't remember like any of the things that I put in here. And I think one of them I was like kind of regretting having put in here. I'm going to take my rings off so it doesn't make that weird clinky noise because I don't like it. Um, because I remember like thinking, oh, I could talk about this forever. But now that I think about it, I'm like, would I really be able to talk about it for that long? I don't know. Like, anyway, so I'm just going to pull a little piece of paper out of here. And hopefully I won't bore you guys to tears. So, let's see. What did I stick in here? My mission. Okay. Well, this is gonna be fun. So I feel like I had a pretty good mission considering, like I didn't realize till I got home that I have social anxiety, and that's why some of the things that I had to do as a missionary were really hard for me. Hold on, I'm gonna go turn on these lights. Because, like, I don't really handle stress very well, and I didn't and my mom thinks I might also be depressed a little bit, but I don't really know how to like get a diagnosis or anything like that, so I don't know. But that's kind of like those were kind of like my struggles, I guess, were like dealing with a lot of new people. Like once I got to know people, it was okay. But like I'm one of those people that goes to a party to hang out with people they already know, and then those people end up like going to talk to new people, and then I'm just sitting there in a corner like all by myself, and like what do I do? I don't want to talk to you. And then like people come up to me and they're like, "Hey, how's it going? What's your name?" And I'm like, "Go away." And it's just that's my reaction to social things. So that's one of the reasons I had a lot of struggles on my mission. Um, my like a lot of my favorite memories were from, well, I guess I have a lot of favorite memories from everywhere. One of my favorite memories from the MTC was the elders from the Romanian district in our zone were flippin' hilarious. We had this one guy, Elder Oldham, and he would tell stories. Like he made up this entire like plot and storyline, and like I don't even know how the cred he did this. I didn't even get to hear the whole story because like he was telling it to two of the other sisters in my district, and I wasn't there. Like I don't sit with them during lunch or dinner or anything, so I didn't get to hear any of this up until like he had like a little side story of how so and so survived, how Sir Hauk survived, because he would take the names of the elders, and instead of calling them elders, he would call them Sir, and they would be knights. So it was like Sir Oldham and Sir Hauk. And I think there was one elder that wasn't a knight, and that's because he was a bad guy. He was they called his association the Hand of Farron, and the reason was because they played volleyball, and he would hit the ball like he was playing volleyball, which like you use your open hand for that apparently, and he would hit it and it would go over the net every time, and so they called it his move the Hand of Farron, and so then Elder Oldham like took this and made it into like a bad guy, like an association. And then like there was a king, and I don't know who the king was, and then like, and it was like this, like he had the coolest plot twist too. Like I didn't even hear it from the beginning, but at the end I was like, holy crap, that's really good, and you wrote this in like 2 weeks all in your head. And I was just like blown away. It was so good. And this elder also made like paper flowers and stuff, and so and he never kept, he said he had one rule about his paper flowers is he never kept any of them. He always gave them away. So I got one of them because he was making it during lunch and I thought it was cool. So he's like, "Do you want it?" And I was like, "Yeah." And it was like almost Christmas, so it was my Christmas present from an elder, and it was just like a random paper flower. I think I still have it somewhere. I don't know where exactly, but it's like basically crushed because of humidity and stuff. Um, anyway, so then my favorite memories from, oh geez, from Milano. Let's see. There were a lot of, like, there's my favorite memories, my favorite people. Um, some of my favorite people, like, they'll always be my favorite people just because they're just so, like, awesome. I don't know. Like, some, all of my favorite missionaries were the missionaries in my districts. Like, all of the missionaries I ever had in a district are my favorite missionaries. I didn't really get to know Anciano Lindley very well, but he was pretty cool. He was nice. I liked oh, and Elder Anciano Hansen was like one of my MTC buddies. So like, yeah, he was one of my favorites. He's easy to talk to, and like he always listens. Like if you're talking to him, he'll just sit there and be like, "Oh yeah, yeah, okay, sure." And so that was really like nice to have somebody who would actually listen to me when I would talk, because I have this problem where I tell stories all the time. You guys know this. And then like nobody wants to sit there and listen to all 50 stories that I have to tell about one subject, which is why I'm making these videos for the people who do. Anyway, so he would sit there and listen to all my stories. Like, and it wasn't even that long because we would only be on the train for like 5 minutes at a time, maybe a little bit longer. And because this was usually when we were on our way to church or to like, if it was P Day and we happened to all be going to the Duomo at the same time. I don't know, just something like that. Elder Lindsay was the funny. He's like the most high maintenance guy I know, because like he's always, oh, my nose is too big, my hands are too big, and like my hair looks like crap, and I'm just like, dude, you're flippin' gorgeous. Just calm yourself and like ignore like what you don't like about yourself. Other people like you fine, okay? Calm yourself. He I actually don't like, I never really my mom knows his parents, my parents know his parents, because his mom's Italian, my mom's Italian, and his dad and my dad were mission companions when they both served in Italy. So it was kind of like really weird, like, whoa moment, you know, getting like finding this out. I was like, are you kidding me, Mom? Why are you telling me this now? You know, but he was really nice, a little bit weird, but really nice. And then there was, let's see, Samuelson was cool. Rango was cool. I liked Samuelson's ties. He always had these flower ties, or like there was this one time he had a kitten tie, and it like I don't know what it was. And so like later on when we were doing like the dedicas in the little journals that we had, like they all had this thing that I don't know who started it. People would write pace fuori, which means like I don't understand, peace outside, something like that. I didn't really get the like the exact translation kind of thing. Like I never really understood why they would say that. Like I guess it means to look like you're peaceful. I don't know. I don't know. Because I liked all of his flower ties, he wrote pace fiori, and then he says, yes, I spelled it like that on purpose because fiori means flowers. And then Rango was just flippin' awesome and funny. Like and it like I think one of the funniest things I remember, besides the Dougie was hilarious, was that the guys in the ward, the GANs, the YSA in the ward, they called Rango and Hansen Rango and Gringo because apparently they said it was because Hansen was whiter than Rango, but Hansen was actually kind of tan, which I thought was kind of amusing that they called him Gringo, because they say that a real Gringo is like a tall, skinny, blonde guy, and that's even funnier because I actually knew one of the elders in my MTC zone was like exactly that description Tall, skinny, blonde. That was Anciano Fabiano. And then, let me think. My companions were awesome. I love my companions. My eyebrow's twitching and I don't know why. It's just this one right here. And like, I think one of the saddest things about my mission was that we couldn't eat dinner. I was just like, oh man, I'm so hungry, and we just got home, and we've only got like an hour before bedtime, and I just want to eat. But like, we only bought enough food for like big meals at lunch, and then maybe snacks at dinner time, and that was it. And so that was kind of sad for me. But I really liked the food. Italian food is all it is cracked up to be, I will say, except for the sweets. The sweets are disappointing. And I already talked about food before, so I'm not going to go into it. Like, what was funny about my first area was that in the ward, there were like, it was like 80 something percent South Americans, like Peruvians and Ecuadorians, and the bishop was from Argentina, which I thought was really cool. I thought he was Italian for a really long time, and then somebody told me he was from Argentina. I was like, what? Because he had a really good accent. Apparently Argentinians, they already speak with kind of a musical Italian type of accent when they speak Spanish. So that was kind of interesting for me to find out, was that he was not Italian at all. But his kid, and it was so funny, his little kid, I think his name was like Luca, I'm not sure. He looked like the little boy from the movie Life is Beautiful, La Vita è Bella. I don't know how many of you guys have seen it, but it was like one of the saddest, cutest movies ever. And anyway, I'm not going to go into movies right now because it is mission time. Let me think. Out of my second area, okay, so my second area, I absolutely loved the elders. Like, we only had two, so it was like, there was two elders and two sisters, and so like we kind of like, and it was a very small area. Like, we had like no, like, it wasn't really small in that the air, like the space was small. It was that there were so few people that we had a branch instead of a ward. And like, the bishop was just like, we need to get more people so we can have a ward, and we can get a ward building, and people need to pay tithing so we can afford the ward building, you know. And because we would meet like in this like office building type place, and like on the second or third floor, and like it was really tiny, and I like I said, all my companions were really fun. My first companion, Sorella Russell, like, she had to try, like, she would always, like, laugh at me when I walked really fast. She's like, I can always tell when you're behind me, because your feet, like, I couldn't walk fast, but I could walk loud, is what it is. I walked loud. And so she says, I can always tell when you're behind me, so I don't have to, like, worry about, like, looking back to see if you're there. And then, like, by the time I got to my second companion, I've started to learn how to walk faster. Like, something she said was like, oh, like, Cyril Stevens was like, you, like, roll your foot on the ground. And I was like, oh, that's how people do it. Because I just literally just put my heel down and then my toe, and then it was like, and so that noise always, like, my feet always made that slappy noise. And it was really, like, irritating to me once I knew that it would make that noise. Like, I didn't like it. So I learned how to walk fast and quietly, and apparently, like, I don't know why, but when I move my arms, I walk faster. Like, I went to the Duomo twice, I think. Maybe I just went once, and then I went inside like 3 times. I went to the top once, and I went inside like 3 times, and there was a Disney store. That was fun. I like the Disney store. That was like the first glimpse I ever had at the movie Frozen. Like, I didn't even know it existed until I got out to Italy. And like, Sister Russell was like, "Oh yeah, I got to watch it for Christmas." And then like, we got to see it in the theater and everything. And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And then like, from the, like, okay, I'm gonna take a little detour for a second so I could talk about Frozen, because I thought it was like this is my first impression of Frozen. I was looking at the posters and I was like, okay, so it looks like the girl with the reddish blondish hair is the good guy and the girl with the white hair is the bad guy. And I don't really know what's going, like that was what I was thinking, was like I have no idea what else is going on in this picture, you know, like there's a couple of guys, maybe they're both dating somebody, I don't know. And so it's just like I have no idea what's going on. So then my companion was like we went to the Disney store and they had like little clips in the movie and stuff in different languages. It wasn't just Italian or English. It was like a bunch of different languages. So you got to see the clips, but you didn't really understand all of what was going on. And so I was like watching it and I was like, oh, this is funny, you know, I want to watch this, you know. And so like from what I understood from that and the movie was like, not the movie, from the clips and the poster, was that, okay, so the girl with the reddish blondish hair was the sister of the girl with the like white blonde hair. And I didn't, like, my companion was like, oh, when they were little, the older sister hurt the younger sister, and so like they made the younger sister forget like it ever happened or whatever. And so like in my head I was thinking, okay, so maybe the younger sister was like separated from her older sister and didn't know she had an older sister for a while. That was my thought process, was she didn't know she had an older sister, or she knew she had an older sister, but she didn't have a way to go look for her until she was older. And so now she was going to go look for her older sister with this random blonde guy. And that was like the story in my head, you know. And it turned out like, and then like in the order that my brain had put it, it was like she was looking for her sister, she found her sister, and there was like a ball or whatever, and nobody, okay, so in my head, also in my head, the Ice Queen thing was already in effect. Like there was already like snow, like a perennial snow, like the witch from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. You know what I'm talking about, right? Where it's just like all snow and everyone's like, oh, it's so cold and there's no summer, and you know, things like that. Like that was what I was thinking, was this is the order. It was always snowing and that nobody knew why. And then the sister found her older sister after like this little quest thing. She finds her older sister, and then everybody finds out that the older sister is what's causing this like wintry like wilderness type thing, like. And that was like my thought process. That was what I thought was going to happen in the movie, and then it turned out to be like completely the other way around. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And like I had asked, like I was like in my head, because I was like, oh, the sister, like it looks like, I told my companion, it looks like the older sister's the bad guy. And then she says, no, the bad guy's the prince. I was like, I didn't want you to tell me. I wanted to watch it and find out myself. And then like at first I was like, prince, which prince? Like, is there more than one prince? I don't know what's going on. So like when I was watching, I was a little bit confused, and then I was like, no, this isn't gonna be the bad guy, is he? Like the guy, you know, Hans. I was like, this isn't gonna be the bad guy, is he? This isn't the bad guy. And then I got like more into it, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's totally the bad guy, and he's just pretending to be nice. And then we got to the reveal, and I was like, you. And I was just like, oh my gosh. Okay, back to Italy, my mission. I'm sorry for the I do that a lot in real life, and so it's really hard for me to stick to a topic. Okay, what else about my mission? There were some members that were really nice. We had like this one member, she like was inactive for a while, and I guess she still considered herself inactive or less active. But she went to church. She tried to go to like at least sacrament meeting every Sunday. She was really nice. And she like fed us every Friday night, like, and she's from Ecuador, so she made really, really, really good food, like always with rice, but like it was always something different. Like there was never like two of the same meal. Like it was all different, and I really liked it. And like I always looked forward to going to her house. And then she and her husband went back to Ecuador for a while, and then they moved to the Navigli area, but she still worked for the same people in Chimiano, and so because she worked for those people, she had to go to church in Chimiano, because that's where she would work there on Sundays, and they would give her 2 hours to go from their place to church and then back. And so that's why it was hard for her to kind of like go to church, was because she only had like 2 hours. Sorry, I'm not really feeling that well. If you can tell, I kind of have like a weird voice today. And I don't know when it started. I thought it might have been, like, I thought I was coughing because I sang on Friday. Because usually after I sing, I kind of get a little bit, like phlegmy or whatever. Like, I have to cough and stuff after I sing for a little while. But it just kept going for like the whole day. And then yesterday, and then today too. So I'm thinking I might have caught something. So that's not fun. Anyway. And then we also had a lot of, like, there were some Filipinos. I don't really, like, there are so many people, like, I loved everybody. It's just, like, I can't go in everybody. I wish I could. We had this crazy lady in Piacenza that was, like, I'm gonna end with Sorella Libe. She was nuts. She's, like, this older lady. I don't really know how old she is. I can't remember. But she, like, she was bedridden for a while because she hurt herself, and then the hospital didn't know she was allergic to stuff, so she got slightly more injured and was bedridden without, like, medication or anything on this, like, injury on her leg for a couple weeks or more. It was a few weeks before she came back to church. And, like, she was, like, literally, like, she had a crutch and everything, like a not really a crutch, a walking stick. She had a walking stick. And like, we would go and visit her like once a week or maybe twice a week sometimes. And she, like, every time we went over, she was like, "You guys never come to see me. You never come to see me." And then she always, like, gets really sad because she's got, like, these, like, growths in her brain that kind of, like, mess with her emotions or whatever. So she's always kind of, like, she always, like, comes up with some, like, sadness of some sort while we're there. But she has, like, this collection of, like, letters and pictures and stuff from all of her friends because she never had kids, and so, like, her friend, like, the missionaries and, like, people from the ward, they're like her family. So she has, like, this whole, like, collection of pictures and wedding announcements and stuff. So I sent her a letter with a picture with me wearing pigtails because she really liked when my hair was about to, like, here. I had these cute little tiny bitty pigtails that I had, and it was, the only reason I wore them was because it was so hot. I needed to get my hair off my neck, but my hair wasn't long enough to do a bun or a ponytail, so I had to do little pigtails instead. And so when there was this one time we went over to her house, and I had the pigtails, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I love your pigtails. They're so cute." And then she's like, "The other day, I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want to hurt your feelings, but, like, I didn't like the way your hair was the other day because you looked like an old person, you looked like an antique with your hair, like, because I would, like, I just had my hair straight, and then, like, I would either pull my hair back, like, just the front hair back, or I would, like, tuck it behind my ears or something, and I would look like, apparently I would look like an old person. I don't really know." And so she was like, "I love it. I like your hair better this way. I like it better." And so I took a picture of my, like, with my hair in pigtails after I got home and sent her a letter. And so, and one of my MTC companion is currently, she was not, I don't know if she still is, but she was in Piacenza for a while, and with one of the elders that was in my district. I love that guy. He was so funny. He would, like, crack puns all the time, and, like, he would feel really ashamed about it, but I would just laugh because I love, like, spur of the moment jokes. I'll have to tell you in a minute some of my favorite ones that he pulled. But so my MTC companion, Sorella Vanka, she's from Germany, and she taught me how to say some German words like Ritter and Eichhörnchen. Hold on. Blah, blah, blah. Eichhörnchen. It's really hard to say like all at once because there's that like one vowel that's special, you know? Like it's, I don't know. Anyway, so, and those mean knight and squirrel respectively. Um, anyway, so she was writing me. She says, "I was here. I saw your name. I'm here. I saw your name in the books, and like I wanted to know if there's anyone like that we should like focus on, anyone you remember or anything like that." And so I just like made a huge list of like all the people I could remember and be like, "Tell this person hi. Tell this person hi." And then like if you find this person, we were working with this person, and you know like, and I just made this huge long list of people. And then she was like, "Oh yeah, Sorella Lee Bay, we just went to her house and she showed us your letter." And I was like, "Oh yay, she got my letter." And anyway, so and Sorella Lee Bay has this like basement thing, like in Italy, like their basements, you know how like in the ground there's like these grates that catch the rainwater and stuff. Well, like here it goes to like sewage, right? But in Italy, like they just go into people's basements. And I'm just like, why? You know? And so every like 6 months or so she has to have it like cleaned out. And so we had to go help her clean out all of this gunky water from her basement. And it like collects in this like little like pot like place, you know. I don't know how to explain it. It's like a tub basically, and it just catches all the water and like all the crap that comes down. So we helped her clean out her basement, and it smelled so bad. Like it was really really bad, and there were spiders everywhere, and it was terrible. And she can't go down there herself because there's a missing step. Like somebody broke it, one of the elders broke it like a couple of years ago or something, or less than a couple of years ago. And she was like, "Oh, I go down there all the time. I'll be fine. I'll be fine." And I'm like, "Listen, Sorella Bay, like you have an injured leg, first of all, and second of all, there's a missing step, and it's hard for me to get up and down this, and I'm taller than you, you know, and I'm only 5'2". She's probably about 5'0". Anyway, so that was, and it was really, she's like, after about like an hour of us cleaning out her basement and me going up and down these little stairs, like I came up and I was having a little bit of difficulty, and then she like looked down at me and goes, "It would probably be a little bit difficult for me to keep going up and down there, wouldn't it?" And I was like, "Yeah, think." But she's really funny. She's really nice. She has like this weird imagination. Like she had like my companion at the time had like like it looked like a cold sore, but it was really like a fever sore because she had been sick for a couple of days. And so like Sorella Lee Bay looked at her and was like, "Oh, you've been kissing that cute blonde elder, haven't you?" And we just like looked at each other and we were like, "Sorella Lee Bay, no." Sorella, no. And it was just like, she's just a funny lady. Anyway, so this anciano, this is actually the cute blonde elder that Sorella Lee Bay was talking about. He cracks a lot of jokes, and I absolutely love like people, like when people crack jokes. It's like the funniest thing to me. I don't know why. Like especially if I'm not expecting it. So like some of my favorite ones were this one time. So I don't even know where he got Snickers bars, but he had Snickers bars like the little baby ones, and so he like my companion like was complaining about something, and so he says, "You just need to laugh a little, so have some Snickers." And then he like kind of looked down and went, "Oh, that was terrible," and I just like died. But the best one was the time we were riding on a train from Zone Conference in Modena back to Piacenza, and it was storming. Like there was hail, and it was like scary. The like train compartment started flooding because one of the windows, like at least two of the windows actually were not waterproofed or something. Like something had happened to them that they didn't like hold back the water anymore, and so they like we had water coming in from one side, and then on the other side, like we just moved over to the other side of the train, and we were looking out, and like we were stopped in a station for a while, and like on the way up, this is where it started. On the way up, on the way to Modena, Anciano McKinnon said, hey, and then we all looked out the window and there were like bales of hay like out in this field, and his companion was like, oh, are you kidding me? And so then like, and I laughed, and and then on the way back, this is what happened. We were sitting and we were looking at what was going on outside, and we are like, holy crud, it's like this big. The pieces of hail are like this big. And so he's like, aw, hail. And we all just kind of like looked at each other. At first I wasn't sure if I should laugh or not, and then he goes, guys, the scriptures are coming true. And we're like, what? He said, the powers of hail are combining against us. And then I just like died. It was so funny. Like, to me, like, just like the funniest things are the things that like I'm not expecting. So like if you start, like, if you say a pun and I'm really not expecting it at all, that's usually when you can get me to laugh the hardest, is if there's like an unexpected pun, because those are the really unexpected ones. Like, you don't really expect, because it doesn't sound like it's gonna be a pun until after it happens, you know. Like today, for instance, somebody said something about somebody said, when's taco time? Because there's this place on our street called Taco Time. It says, when's taco time? About 3:30. And then we all just kind of like, everyone was like, oh, and I just died. I was laughing so hard, and like, because I wasn't expecting it, you know. And those are always the best jokes for me. Anyway, I've taken like 3 detours today, and it's been more than 30 minutes, so I'm gonna be done now. Bye.